Meet Fabry Blanche Alkeystone, the resplendent son of the Empire, exuding unmatched power. Blessed with golden hair and piercing blue eyes, he was lauded as the greatest emperor ever known. His exceptional talents and noble heart ushered in an unprecedented era of prosperity. Yet this revered sovereign concealed a far more complex and troubling nature. To the original female lead of the story, he was the very source of her unending nightmare. An ominous book reveals the tale's title, The Imprisoned Empress, foreshadowing her plight. This narrative centers on an emperor, his captive empress, and a love story gone terribly wrong. Stained from some unseen turmoil, the emperor coldly observes the anguished empress. Brace yourselves, for this is a journey into a profoundly dark and mature-rated romance. Our unfortunate heroine's story unfolds, starting with a seemingly innocent question about her marital prospects. Enya Lockhart, with a charming smile, declares she has absolutely no marriage plans. Her grandmother persists with matchmaking, suggesting her fine grandson, but Enya quickly cuts her off. Enya brightly reminds her grandmother about her medicine, then feigns a forgotten task to make a hasty departure. Observing her grandmother's improved health, Enya decides it's the right moment to consider moving on. She muses that by rejecting the matchmaking, she's actually spared the grandson from the Emperor's dangerous wrath. With steely resolve, Enya plans to escape the Emperor and rewrite her tragic fate from the original story. The story's origins trace back to the Lockhart family's elevation to dukedom for their role in the Emperor's ascension. This rise in status naturally led to discussions of a political marriage to consolidate the Emperor's power base. A lavish wax-sealed letter symbolizes the formal alliance forged between the imperial and ducal houses. The grand wedding ceremony proceeds, yet a palpable lack of affection between the bride and groom hints at future discord. But after their wedding night, the Emperor's demeanor took a sinister turn. Previously uninterested, he suddenly began obsessing over her every breath and action. Her innocent interactions, even with family, were now under his suffocating, unseen scrutiny. This dark fixation twisted into a dangerous jealousy, extending even to those she held dear. He ruthlessly accused her loyal family of treason, eliminating them to ensure she was his alone. Indeed, the Emperor's possessiveness revealed a truly unhinged and controlling nature. Our heroine then recalls a shocking childhood memory, realizing she'd been reborn into this very tragic novel at just 8 years old. As a child facing such a terrifying destiny, she felt utterly helpless against the looming disaster. However, a flicker of her unique perception hinted that something was distinctly amiss even back then. She soon discovered her secret weapon, an uncanny ability to detect illness purely by scent. Her unique talent first manifested when she noticed a peculiar scent emanating from her grandfather. This early detection of his illness earned her a substantial reward, kickstarting her secret plans. Combining her olfactory gift with her family's herbal expertise, she began amassing funds for her eventual escape. Then, the dreaded imperial summons arrived, a full 3 years sooner than her novel memory predicted. With a sigh of relief under the moonlight, she departed her home, having meticulously covered her tracks. She watches as the last remnants of her old life turn to ash, severing ties to her past. Equipped with a magical herb pouch and a new identity, she was fully prepared for life on the run. A determined glint in her eyes, she steels herself against the thought of the Emperor she's fleeing. Vowing to never cross paths with him again, she embarks on her journey in a departing carriage. 3 years into her fugitive life, having relocated 10 times, she reflects on her choices, knowing her survival is paramount. She laments that a recently enforced residence law reform cut short her stay in the previous village. This new law, ostensibly for military replenishment, is actually the Emperor's ploy to control powerful noble families. She puzzles over why the Emperor's decree arrived 3 years earlier than in the original story, complicating her escape. She reasons the sparsely populated southern region will be the last to feel the law's impact. With a new plan, she resolves to seek refuge at Count Grunwald's estate in the south. The remote, barren Grunwald estate, with its scarce young population, seems like the perfect hideout as rain begins to fall. Under a gentle rain, she arrives at her new, quaint house, a beacon of hope. Eagerly, she steps inside, seeking shelter from the increasing downpour. She's delighted to find the house well-furnished, clean, and surprisingly spacious. Her new sanctuary exceeds all expectations, bringing a moment of genuine relief. Yet a nagging memory of the broker's odd, dismissive comment about a tiny issue with the house resurfaces. She tries to brush it off, reasoning that as a hideout from the Emperor, this place is still ideal. But then, a sudden, inexplicable feeling makes her bright blue eyes widen in alarm. She spins around, a shiver tracing her spine as she wonders what just caused that prickling sensation. Her foot then makes contact with something unexpected, hidden just beyond her immediate sight. A close-up on her eye reveals the dawning horror of her discovery. She recoils, a silent scream caught in her throat as she stumbles back from the shocking sight outside. Her horrified gaze lands on an unconscious figure sprawled in the tall, rain-soaked grass. Utterly stunned, she struggles to process the unbelievable scene unfolding before her. She now suspects this grim discovery might be the security issue and the real reason for the suspiciously low rent. Enya, clearly unsettled, tries to make sense of the unconscious man in her yard. The mysterious figure, soaked by the relentless rain, lets out a faint groan. She cautiously approaches, her concern battling her fear as she wonders about his condition. Reaching out, she uses her unique scent ability, detecting no sign of illness on him. Observing his flushed face, she deduces he might have simply fainted from an unknown cause. She weighs her options, realizing calling the guards would expose her precarious hidden status. Yet the thought of abandoning a collapsed person in such weather pricks at her conscience. Even as a fugitive, she knows leaving him to the elements will only worsen his state. Her compassionate nature wins. She can't just ignore someone clearly in distress right before her. With newfound resolve, she decides to offer aid, pulling the stranger towards shelter. She muses that this stranger, against all odds, might just be the key to ending her wretched, fugitive existence. A faint, almost knowing smile plays on the unconscious man's lips as Enya considers this possibility. Indeed, she speculates this unexpected arrival could be a huge help, finally offering a way out of her miserable life on the run. Exhausted, Enya reveals she barely managed to drag the surprisingly heavy man into her new home. She can't help but feel exasperated by the sheer inconvenience of him collapsing right outside her carefully chosen hideout. Suddenly, a crucial memory sparks in her mind, her bright blue eyes widening with a new thought. She recalls her loyal maid, Emma, promising to send a tough mercenary to ensure her safe escape. Looking at the unconscious figure, Enya wonders if this could be the very mercenary Emma hired through the guild. A thoughtful, slightly worried expression crosses her face as she considers the implications of this potential connection. Yet the chilling thought surfaces. If he's not Emma's man but an Imperial agent, her carefully constructed escape is doomed. Enya frantically pats down the unconscious man, her priority to find a mercenary badge. Success. She pulls out a wooden tag, clearly marked with a wolf emblem, confirming he's a mercenary. She's taken aback to discover he's an A-rank mercenary named Dale, a rather impressive feat. She scoffs at the thought of him being the Emperor, remembering the novel's ruler had a comically absurd name. A flicker of doubt crosses her mind. His striking features are far too prominent for a mere side character. She recalls the novel's Emperor was described as devastatingly handsome, a common trait for main characters. With a determined glint, she resolves to verify his identity beyond any doubt. She leans in for a closer inspection, her focus entirely on his facial features. Observing his black hair and striking gold eyes, she notes he doesn't match the novel's blonde, blue-eyed Emperor. Though still harboring some suspicion, she decides to tend to his needs first and interrogate him later. She reasons that even an Imperial agent wouldn't dare harm his future Empress, planning her usual sneaky escape. Besides, her grandpa's voice echoes in her mind, reminding her never to abandon someone injured. Confident in her Lockhart family healing skills, she vows to restore the unconscious man to perfect health. As dawn breaks over the remote estate, a new day begins, marking the end of her long vigil. Utterly drained, Enya finally collapses, having toiled through the night to care for the stranger. Relief washes over her. His fever has broken, his breathing is steady, and she eagerly awaits his awakening. Exhaustion claims her, and she slumps into a deep sleep by his bedside, her duty momentarily done. The once unconscious man, now awake, carefully lifts the sleeping Enya from her uncomfortable position. He holds her gently, his expression thoughtful as he gazes at the woman who saved him. Sunlight glints off the roof of their secluded sanctuary, hinting at the unfolding, unexpected connection within. Enya stirs from her slumber, sleepily complaining about a noise she attributes to her maid, Emma. A sudden jolt of memory hits her. She's been a fugitive for 3 long years. She springs up, instantly realizing her loyal Emma couldn't possibly be with her. Disoriented, she questions how she ended up on the second floor, her last memory being of tending to the stranger. A suspicious sound from downstairs sends a wave of panic through her. Has her hideout been compromised already? Cautiously peeking down, she spots the mysterious man, very much awake and surprisingly active in her kitchen. Her eyes widen in a mixture of shock and dawning realization. The stranger, looking remarkably recovered and holding a frying pan, offers a charming smile as he notices her. Enya is momentarily stunned, a blush creeping up her face at his unexpected vigor and presence. Snapping back to reality, she brandishes a broom, demanding answers, while he calmly states he's making breakfast as thanks. Flustered but firm, Enya prioritizes answers over breakfast, demanding his identity. He apologizes smoothly, introducing himself as Dale, the actual owner of this very house. Enya stares, utterly dumbfounded. The man she rescued is her landlord? Her mind races, trying to comprehend this bizarre twist. He owns her carefully chosen hideout. Suddenly, it all clicks. No wonder this spacious countryside dwelling was suspiciously affordable. Dale clarifies the living arrangement. He occupies the first floor, while she's merely rented the second. She questions why he'd only rent out a single floor, as Dale sheepishly admits to a recent financial pinch. Enya sighs, recalling her own desperate rush to find a sanctuary, admitting she barely glanced at the lease. A flashback reveals her earlier visit to the agent, seeking clarification on the property's peculiarities. The flustered agent defensively insists he did warn her about certain issues with the place. Enya fumes, accusing the agent of outright fraud, as his vague warnings clearly downplayed the co-tenant situation. She remembers the agent's key points. The house was split, her floor had a separate entrance, and it was the only option available. Enya also recalls the agent mentioning Dale's good reputation and long-term residency in the town. Though somewhat reassured, she's still uncomfortable living with a stranger and can't risk contacting authorities. Defeated, Enya returns to the house, where Dale observes her silently as she eats the breakfast he prepared. She sighs, lamenting that her escape plan was going far too smoothly, as a chibi Dale looks on nervously. Enya stares blankly ahead, pondering her limited options and what her next move should be. Dale, noticing her distress, looks at her with a slightly flushed and concerned expression. He gently touches her hand, offering to leave if his presence makes her uncomfortable, but she questions where he'd even go. Dale, blushing profusely, insists anywhere is fine, prompting Enya to internally plead for him to stop looking at her with such earnest eyes. Enya internally debates, acknowledging it feels wrong to evict the owner, especially with no other lodgings available in Grunwald. A sudden knock at the front door startles both Enya and Dale, their attention snapping towards the entrance. Enya, slightly alarmed, questions Dale if he was anticipating a visitor at such an odd time. Dale, equally perplexed, reassures Enya he'll investigate, instructing her to remain where she is. He cautiously approaches the door, his hand reaching out to the imposing metal knocker. The door opens to reveal a beaming, brown-haired man, exuberantly inquiring if Miss Anne is present. Dale and Enya exchange baffled glances, completely taken aback by the stranger's flowery address. A jolt of recognition hits Enya. Anne is her secret alias, and that ridiculous phrase is Emma's prearranged passcode. Enya swiftly intervenes, telling Dale the visitor is likely looking for her. The newcomer introduces himself as Hunter, an S-rank mercenary assigned as Miss Anne's escort, while a wary Dale demands identification. Hunter confidently presents a handwritten letter, solidifying his mercenary credentials in Dale's eyes. Enya's mind races, realizing the hefty service fee and lodging costs associated with a mercenary. Her fugitive budget is already stretched thin, a fact not lost on Dale observing from the doorway. Dale watches the unfolding financial discussion with a hint of bewildered concern. Enya clarifies the payment structure with Hunter, who confirms separate fees for contract and commission. She then inquires about Hunter's accommodation, learning he has no place to stay in Grunwald. With a strained smile, Enya attempts to cancel the escort request, citing her inability to cover his commission. Before Hunter can react, Enya swiftly turns her attention to Dale, a new plan forming. She firmly reminds Dale of her year-long lease for the second floor, seeking his confirmation. Enya presses Dale, asking if he, the owner, is truly agreeable to her continued tenancy, to which he calmly affirms. Enya internally critiques Emma's extravagant choice, deeming an S-rank mercenary far too costly for her practical needs. Hunter, meanwhile, cheerfully anticipates a mountain of fees, from guild charges to housing and even food costs. Enya cleverly inquires about local residency laws, confirming with Dale that the official registration would be under his name. This detail, she muses, is actually perfect, as her mind races with a new, far more economical plan involving Dale. Hiring Dale means no official paper trail for Miss Anne, plus the bonus of an A-rank mercenary's protection, as his wolf-emblemed badge flashes in her memory. And let's not forget, she adds internally, the man clearly knows his way around a kitchen, a definite perk. With a newfound resolve, Enya addresses Dale, whose innocent, wide-eyed gaze meets hers as she prepares to make her pitch. She lays out her offer, a cool $1 million Croat base salary, plus she'll cover all shared living expenses. Taking a deep breath, Enya boldly pops the question, asking Dale if he'll officially become her mercenary. To sweeten the deal, she reveals she saw his mercenary badge earlier and presents a hefty bag of gold, ready to seal their unconventional arrangement. Enya confesses her fugitive status to Dale, explaining the hefty sum is for serious protection. She elaborates that her pursuers aren't just any threat, they are overwhelmingly powerful, making Dale ponder. Enya sweetens the pot further, adding a daily danger bonus, bringing the total to a fortune capable of buying a capital estate. Her internal monologue reveals a very specific, high-stakes reason behind this massive investment. Dale astutely observes that such a large payment must come with significant risks, particularly for her. With a solemn expression, Dale agrees to listen to the full details, vowing to keep her request confidential. Enya smirks, impressed by his sharpness and confident she hasn't misjudged her new landlord mercenary. Taking a deep breath, Enya drops the real bombshell. She wants Dale to be her contract husband for 364 days. Her true, desperate strategy is revealed internally. A husband would be a shield even the Emperor couldn't easily bypass. Dale nearly spills his tea, utterly flabbergasted by the marriage proposal, while Enya frets if she's gone too far. Enya specifies the 364-day term for their sham marriage, assuring a stunned Dale it's purely contractual. She explains the Empire's deferment system, a loophole for their quick, uncomplicated arrangement. The lengthy divorce process, typically 3 to 5 years, led to this 1-year deferment after registration. This clever system allows for annulment within the year, bypassing immediate legal recognition of the marriage. Enya then reveals the core of her predicament, a marriage proposal from someone else. This mysterious suitor is described as exceedingly dangerous, the reason she's been a fugitive for 3 long years. Dale, his curiosity piqued, inquires about the proposer, but Enya remains tight-lipped for now. He contemplates her audacious request, covering his mouth as she presses for his decision. Enya slides the hefty bag of gold forward, giving Dale space to consider without pressure. Just as Enya mentions seeking other candidates, Dale decisively grasps her hand, accepting her unusual offer. Dale, with a steady gaze, accepts Enya's audacious proposal, agreeing to become her husband. Their journey begins in a carriage, with Enya quizzing Dale on the intricate details of their fabricated backstory. She recaps their cover, a romance thwarted by her parents, leading her to bravely follow him south. Enya, with a confident smile, declares this elaborate tale is the very reason for their impending marriage registration. She explains their destination, a temple notorious for quick fee-based elopement registrations, stressing their rehearsed alibi. Noting Dale's composure, Enya finally reveals her noble Lockhart lineage and the Emperor's unwanted proposal. Dale, ever stoic, reaffirms his commitment to face any dangers that come with their arrangement. Enya observes Dale's subtle nervousness, a slight fidgeting betraying his unease despite the contractual nature of their union. She offers Dale reassurance, vowing to support him just as he has bravely stepped up for her. Dale is visibly taken aback by her earnest promise, a faint blush creeping up his neck as he processes her words. Enya internally notes Dale's evident anxiety, even observing a slight stutter. Their carriage pulls up and Enya announces their arrival at the temple. Stepping down, Enya refines their cover story, suggesting they met at a noble's banquet where Dale was a guard. Dale, with a knowing smile, proposes an even more romantic first meeting, the Imperial Palace Garden. Enya looks at him, a touch of surprise and a faint blush gracing her features at his suggestion. Amused by his unexpected sentimentality, Enya decides to weave his romantic idea into their elopement tale. Before entering the temple, Enya meticulously reviews Dale's fabricated background as a northern mercenary, which he affirms. She then questions his reason for moving south, emphasizing the need for their elopement to seem driven by love. Dale cryptically mentions an unfulfilled dream and an incident as his reasons for coming to Grunwald. Though puzzled by his vague explanation, Enya offers Dale her sincere wishes for his success. Just as they're about to enter, Enya halts Dale, a crucial last-minute question on her mind. She boldly asks her soon-to-be contractual husband if he's currently seeing anyone. Dale calmly denies it, while Enya reminds him of their no-interference clause, encouraging honesty. He then vehemently insists he's single, assuring Enya there's absolutely nothing for her to worry about. Dale, with adorable earnestness, vows to fulfill his duty, seeing it as repaying Enya for her kindness, much to her amusement. With the Grand Temple looming, Dale formally asks if they are ready to become a fake married couple. Arm in arm, Enya and Dale approach the temple entrance, ready to present their carefully crafted elopement story. A flamboyant official quizzes them on their love elopement, but Enya coolly confirms their tale, pressing for a swift process. As they're guided further, Enya feels a wave of nerves, yet initially perceives Dale as remarkably composed. She quickly realizes Dale isn't calm, but completely petrified, his stoic facade crumbling into adorable, stiff nervousness. An official dramatically swings open ornate doors, signaling the commencement of their sham ceremony. Arm in arm, the groom and bride proceed down the aisle, ready to play their parts. The officiant, with a knowing smile, inquires if they're truly prepared to exchange heartfelt vows. Enya, with unwavering resolve in her eyes, confidently affirms her readiness. Dale, a subtle blush gracing his features, echoes her sentiment with a surprisingly convincing smile. Internally, Enya acknowledges the stark reality. No finery, no guests, just a performance for their survival. Yet in that fleeting moment, she perceives an unexpected sincerity in Dale's gaze. The official pronounces their union legitimate, and Dale looks surprisingly bashful beside a composed Enya. Enya internally admits that for a brief instant, the fabricated wedding felt surprisingly real, like a culmination of genuine affection. She silently praises Dale's convincing performance as a love-struck groom, while he internally attributes his success to her. Enya, with a satisfied smile, reminds Dale of their 364-day contractual marriage, expressing her reliance on him. Suddenly flustered, Enya realizes her coat is missing, and Dale gallantly offers to retrieve it from the temple. Watching him depart, Enya reaffirms her decision, internally praising Dale's considerate nature. Meanwhile, back in the temple, an official fumbles through a grand bookshelf searching for a specific document. The flustered official breaks into a sweat, panicking over the misplaced marriage certificate. A cloaked Dale materializes silently, his sudden appearance startling the official, who demands to know his identity. The official recognizes the groom but is taken aback by Dale's drastically changed, imposing demeanor as he calmly presents the certificate. Dale, now holding the open marriage certificate, smirks coolly as the bewildered official questions his audacity. A chilling close-up on Dale's piercing golden eyes silences the official's sputtering protest. Dale then calmly signs a document, revealing the name Fabry Blanche Alkystone, as he affixes his signature. The official erupts, accusing Dale of insanity for daring to use the imperial family name Alkystone. Dale, cloaked and unperturbed, watches the official's meltdown, knowing a commoner wouldn't dare such a thing. With a decisive thud, Dale places an ornate diamond-studded ring on the desk, declaring it should suffice. The official's eyes widen in terror, recognizing the ring as an emblem passed down only to the emperor. Dale smirks, asserting that even a corrupt bribe-taking priest would recognize this symbol and its implications. His gaze hardens as he commands the official to accept the document as is, if he values his life. A symbolic overlay emphasizes Dale's unwavering resolve. The marriage must be made official, no matter what. Dale internally reaffirms his decision to proceed, as the marriage needs to be official, after all. The terrified official stammers his compliance, addressing Dale as Your Majesty, while shakily accepting the document. Dale, with a chilling intensity, corrects the official, stating he is not the Emperor, he is Dale. Dale, cloaked and menacing, issues a stark warning to the official: silence or face dire consequences. He then calmly retrieves Enya's forgotten coat, his mission inside the temple nearly complete. The terrified official, now utterly subservient, hastily agrees as Dale turns to depart. With a final glance back, Dale strides away, the narration confirming the marriage is irrevocably sealed. Dale walks through an opulent hall, internally dismissing Enya's contractual terms as trivialities. He reflects that with the temple registration, he is now, unequivocally, Enya's husband. Outside, Enya patiently waits, adjusting the bow on her dress with a serene expression. A radiant smile graces Enya's lips as she inwardly admits she never intended for their arrangement to be temporary. Dale, a subtle blush on his cheeks, thinks of Lady Enya Lockhart, with a determined, almost possessive smile. Elsewhere, two noblewomen spot Dale, one recognizing him as the mysterious man from Grunwald territory, whom Lady Adeline intended to invite to her party. One of the noblewomen, shielding herself with an ornate parasol, confirms her companion's observation about Dale. Her friend vividly recalls Dale exiting the marriage vow room, accompanied by an exceptionally beautiful woman. The First Lady scoffs at the notion of that man marrying, but her companion seems to consider the possibility seriously. A gloved hand clenches with resolve as the gossiping noblewomen ponder their next move. They decide the rumor is too juicy not to investigate, a plan clearly forming in their minds. The following morning, Enya is astounded by a room overflowing with wedding gifts for her and Dale. She wonders aloud how news of their elopement spread so fast, concluding Dale must be quite the local heartthrob. Dale, ever so charmingly flustered, apologizes for the sudden influx of attention, which Enya cheekily notes he doesn't deny. Over breakfast, Enya playfully lists Dale's virtues, from his community spirit to his undeniable good looks, making him blush. Enya internally muses that while this spotlight isn't ideal for her secrets, she's now tied to the town's beloved young man. Enya, ever the strategist, realizes this unexpected attention could actually work in her favor. She recalls a crucial detail. This very land holds a secret, fertile plot even the novel's villain craved. According to the original story, Grunwald was home to a massive herb field, a prized possession of Duke Hexagon. Yet, during her visit to the temple area, Enya saw no sign of such a valuable herb field. A brilliant idea begins to form in Enya's sharp mind, connecting the dots. She casually quizzes Dale about Duke Hexagon's presence in Grunwald, learning his people haven't made their move yet. Enya internally celebrates. If the Duke hasn't started cultivating, she still has a chance to claim it. With a bright smile, Enya sweetly asks Dale if he could help her find a specific piece of land. Dale looks mildly surprised by her sudden interest in farming, as Enya specifies its location near the Lord's Manor and Ginkgo Forest. Dale, ever dependable, readily agrees to scout for land meeting her exact requirements that very day. Enya cheerfully bids Dale farewell, who promises a swift return from his errands. Dale, cloaked and ever so charming, departs with a warm smile, ready to fulfill Enya's request. Waving him off, Enya can't help but appreciate her remarkably reliable contract husband. With Dale on his mission, Enya decides a little housekeeping is in order, confident in his success. Suddenly, a sharp knock from a gloved hand echoes through the quiet house. Enya, startled from her thoughts, heads to the door, expecting perhaps another friendly villager. Instead, two irate noblewomen burst in, demanding answers and leaving Enya utterly perplexed by their aggressive entrance. Outside, the confrontation escalates as the noblewomen aggressively interrogate Enya about her marriage to Dale. Enya is dumbfounded by accusations of coercion or bribery, wondering how these women appeared so quickly. The noblewomen fume, unable to comprehend Dale choosing Enya over Lady Adeline, as Enya silently questions their audacity. Enya, with a polite gesture, attempts to calm the agitated noblewomen. A concerned onlooker tries to diffuse the tension, asking the noblewomen to calm down for Enya's sake. The noblewoman with the parasol confirms Enya's identity and the truth of Dale's marriage. Enya confirms she is indeed Enya, warily wondering if this newcomer is connected to the Emperor. The noblewoman introduces herself as Adeline Kidland, daughter of Viscount Kidland, lord of the neighboring territory. Adeline, with a practiced smile, claims she's merely there to invite her new neighbors to a gathering. Enya internally notes Kidland isn't truly a neighbor and questions Adeline's business in Grunwald. Adeline's companion interjects, explaining Lady Adeline is a relative of Count Grunwald and wishes to help Enya settle in. The companion fiercely defends Adeline's status, declaring her practically the Count's granddaughter and demanding respect. Adeline smoothly explains her extended stay at the Count's manor, citing her love for Grunwald and the close ties between their families. Adeline, with feigned sweetness, invites Enya to a tea party, much to her companion's disbelief. Enya, however, sees right through Adeline's act, knowing this kindness is pure pretense. Adeline, holding the invitation, presses Enya for an answer, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. Enya internally deduces Adeline's true motive, a public humiliation disguised as a social gathering. Undeterred, Enya graciously accepts, realizing this trap aligns perfectly with her own agenda. Later, Dale brings up Lady Kidland's tea party, clearly having heard about the invitation. Dale voices his concern, but Enya, eyeing her favorite carrot cake, assures him she's fine and curious about the Count's estate. Enya cleverly states she'll use the visit to inspect the land Dale found near the estate. Dale, ever considerate, offers Enya a selection of dresses for the occasion, which she gratefully accepts before changing the subject. Enya then boldly asks Dale if he ever shared his home with a previous lover. Enya reveals she found a dressing room full of women's clothes, sparking her suspicion about Dale's past. Dale calmly explains the clothes belonged to his younger sister, who left them when she moved out. He firmly dismisses Enya's romantic suspicions, his gaze steady and reassuring. Dale admits his work left no time for dating, subtly hinting Enya changed that, making him blush as she feigns casual curiosity. Enya beams, relieved the clothes are free for her use, internally convinced shy Dale wouldn't have had a live-in girlfriend. Meanwhile, at a lavish estate, Lady Adeline fumes with irritation over recent events. Adeline furiously summons Sophia, her companion, who jumps at the sharp call. Sophia nervously attends to Lady Adeline, who unleashes her frustration upon her unfortunate companion. Adeline, turning away, grandly announces her plan to host the most extravagant birthday party ever. With a sinister glint in her eye, Adeline vows to teach Enya a lesson for daring to take what she considers hers, demanding her aid be contacted immediately. The next day, near the Lord's castle, Dale presents Enya with the land matching her specific conditions. Enya marvels at the spacious plot, questioning its surprisingly low price with a bright smile. Dale explains a baseless rumor about the Lord's curse devalues land near the castle, as Enya recalls hearing such whispers. Enya studies a map, confirming this vast plot near the castle, and ginkgo forest is exactly the land described in the original work. However, Enya furrows her brow, puzzled by a strange, unpleasant stench assaulting her nose. She recalls the novel only mentioned fertile land for medicinal herbs, not any odor, making her suspect something is amiss. Enya requests her shovel from Dale, ready to investigate the peculiar smell. Dale, ever prepared, reveals he brought the shovel from the carriage, anticipating her need, much to Enya's gratitude. Just as Enya is about to start digging, Dale gently halts her, suggesting something else must be done first. Dale stands with a knowing look, his hand on his cloak, ready to address this preliminary matter. Dale, ever the gentleman, spreads his cloak, insisting Enya sit to avoid soiling her tea party attire. Enya, touched by his concern, reminds him of his own duties, wary of social scrutiny over a speck of dirt. Dale, with a warm smile, wishes he could handle all her troubles but insists on this small gesture of support. He then meticulously puts gloves on Enya, whose heart flutters at his unexpected attentiveness. Now fully equipped, Enya grips the shovel, poised to unearth the mystery of the stench. Dale watches with a hint of blush as Enya, undeterred by the dirt, prepares to dig. Enya smirks with satisfaction, her suspicions about the land seemingly confirmed by her initial assessment. She discovers a layer of foul-smelling dirt concealing rich, fertile soil underneath, a puzzling discovery. Enya theorizes this hidden quality is why the land remains unclaimed, and eagerly asks Dale about purchasing it from Grunwald Castle. Dale decisively stops her, revealing the land is currently designated for Grunwald's use, hinting at a complication. Dale drops a bombshell. This prime wasteland belongs to none other than the Lord of Kidland, stunning Enya. Enya connects the dots to Adeline, realizing the Kidland ownership and the land's desolation are highly suspicious. A strange sense of déjà vu washes over Enya as she links the influential Lady Kidland to this peculiar plot. Despite the Kidland connection, Enya's resolve hardens. She's not abandoning this valuable land. With the castle looming, the next logical step is to head towards it and uncover more. Enya, ever proactive, decides she'll personally investigate the truth behind this land's strange circumstances. Their carriage approaches the Grand Grunwald Castle, the stage for Enya's next move. Dale gallantly assists Enya from the carriage, formally announcing their arrival at the imposing estate. Dale, ever the gentleman, beams, clearly pleased to be accompanying Enya. From afar, Adeline and her entourage observe, with Adeline noting Dale's uncharacteristically warm smile towards Enya. Adeline, observing Dale's warmth towards Enya, wonders if the rumors of a forced marriage were false. Adeline formally greets Enya, who politely thanks her for the invitation to the estate. Enya internally notes that despite being the invited guest, Adeline's attention is solely fixed on Dale. Enya suddenly feigns nausea from the carriage ride, prompting Dale to offer to take her home immediately. Enya declares she feels better now that Dale is worried about her, and he looks relieved and happy. Adeline, witnessing their interaction, struggles to hide her displeasure, her expression turning grim. Dale tenderly takes Enya's hand, announcing his departure but promising to see her that evening. Adeline's grip tightens on her fan, betraying her barely suppressed irritation. Adeline, attempting to regain composure, announces it's time for them to proceed inside. Enya watches Adeline and Sophia depart, a satisfied smirk playing on her lips, pleased with her little performance. Just as Adeline and Sophia turn to leave, Adeline forcefully shoves Sophia, who yelps in surprise. Sophia stumbles to the ground, clutching her nose and questioning Adeline's sudden aggression. Enya, witnessing the shove, immediately rushes to Sophia's side, while Adeline feigns concern over tea party preparations. Enya gently helps Sophia, noticing a trickle of blood from her nose as Sophia stammers her thanks. Enya's gaze sharpens, a flicker of suspicion crossing her mind as she assesses the situation. Enya internally observes Sophia's worn dress, deducing she's not a maid, but perhaps a struggling noblewoman, and offers to escort her to the tea party. Before Sophia can fully respond, Adeline's sharp voice cuts through the air, calling Sophia's name. Adeline chides Sophia for being out and about, citing her supposed frailty with a concerned facade. Taking Sophia's hand, Adeline instructs her to rest, prompting Sophia to meekly ask if she can wait in Adeline's room. Adeline's expression sours instantly as she flatly denies Sophia's request, her irritation barely concealed. Adeline's demeanor softens. She grants Sophia permission and points out a scrape on Sophia's palm, advising her to treat it. Sophia gratefully addresses Adeline as sister before departing, leaving Enya to ponder their dissimilar appearances and possible sibling bond. A nearby maid clarifies that Adeline is a relative of Lord Grunwald, treated much like his own granddaughter. Enya connects the dots, now suspecting Sophia might actually be Lord Grunwald's granddaughter. This revelation deepens Enya's suspicion, as it's odd for the Lord's granddaughter to be excluded from the tea party. Another lady interrupts, ushering them inside, while Enya observes Adeline, a mere relative, behaving as the castle's mistress. Enya internally questions the strange dynamics and undercurrents within Grunwald Castle. Inside, noblewomen whisper about Enya's unfamiliar face, quickly deducing she's Dale's rumored commoner wife. The gossip continues, with the ladies expressing pity for Dale's choice, deeming it a careless marriage. They muse that marrying Adeline would have brought Dale wealth and honor, allowing him to abandon his dangerous mercenary life. Enya sips her tea, calmly observing the unfolding social charade. Her sharp gaze sweeps the room, clearly unimpressed by the noblewomen's petty games. Internally, Enya scoffs. She'd expected a far more impressive display of social warfare. A noblewoman sneers, remarking on Dale's modest nature and implying Enya should have let him marry better. Enya coolly watches the gossiping ladies, their barbs failing to penetrate her composure. She instantly recognizes their clumsy attempt to ostracize and belittle her. Their efforts to snub and scold her are, in Enya's estimation, rather pathetic. Then, a lady announces a surprise birthday celebration for Adeline, the supposed guest of honor. Adeline, feigning humility amidst a pile of gifts, acts as though she didn't expect such generosity. Enya sees through the ruse. This birthday is a childish trap to make her appear rude for not bringing a gift. Adeline gushes over the pile of presents, exclaiming how lovely they all are. With a sly glance, Adeline turns to Enya, pointedly asking if she agrees with the sentiment. Enya, cool as ever, listens as a noblewoman questions her about her own gift for Adeline, implying she came empty-handed. A knowing smirk plays on Enya's lips. She's clearly anticipated this little scheme. Adeline feigns generosity, claiming she told Enya not to worry, but Enya sees right through her. Enya smoothly counters, revealing she indeed prepared a gift as she produces a sleek red envelope. With a confident smile, Enya wishes Lady Adeline a happy birthday, presenting her offering. Adeline, caught off guard, stammers her delight, clearly not expecting Enya to be so prepared. Enya internally smirks, recalling she's been ready for Adeline since the day Adeline first appeared at her home. A flashback to the previous afternoon begins, showing a sunlit room as someone ponders a gift for the young lady of Kidland. The flashback continues, with Enya looking confused as Dale mentions a gift. Dale clarifies he wasn't invited to a birthday party, and Enya confirms she hadn't heard of one, questioning his assumption. Dale admits he doesn't even remember Adeline's face clearly. He then recalls a woman, Adeline, identifying herself as Lord Kidland's daughter and inviting him to her birthday. Dale, holding Adeline's invitation, confesses he mistakenly thought Enya would naturally be invited to the Lord's castle party too. Enya, ever astute, quickly realizes it's a deliberate setup to embarrass her and asks Dale to wait a moment. Dale, ever the thoughtful husband, produces a sleek red envelope, suggesting it as a perfect, readily available gift. Enya stares at the offered gift, her eyes wide with disbelief at its apparent value. Dale casually explains he received the exquisite necklace inside as payment for a job and offers it to Enya, as he has no use for it. Back in the present, Enya internally credits Dale's foresight for saving her from social disgrace, eagerly anticipating the noble's reactions. Adeline eagerly opens the sleek red envelope, ready to inspect Enya's offering. She pulls out a delicate necklace, her initial reaction a patronizing comment on its small and cute nature. Adeline, already adorned with a gaudy piece, implies Enya's gift is far too modest for her refined tastes. Enya, unfazed, mentally notes Adeline's predictable attempt to downplay the gift's value. Suddenly, Enya rises, her voice cutting through the chatter, loudly agreeing with Adeline's assessment. A bespectacled noblewoman, a merchant's daughter, chimes in, affirming the gift's priceless nature, much to Adeline's surprise. The merchant's daughter's eyes gleam with recognition. She identifies the necklace as the legendary Angel's Trumpet, a master craftsman's work. Adeline scoffs, disbelieving a commoner could own such a treasure, instantly dismissing it as a fake, while Enya calmly requests a moment. The merchant's daughter, now holding the necklace, confidently strides towards Enya, who watches her approach with mild surprise. With genuine interest, the merchant's daughter apologizes for her boldness and requests a private word with Enya about the exquisite necklace. Whispers ripple through the room as the noblewomen recall the Angel's Trumpet, the very masterpiece that ignited the capital's pendant craze. The merchant's daughter, eyes sparkling with expertise, confirms the necklace is undoubtedly genuine, its craftsmanship pure art. She smoothly suggests Adeline only decline the gift due to its overwhelming preciousness, feeling burdened by its value. Adeline trembles, cornered as the merchant's daughter subtly questions if she failed to recognize the treasure she'd mocked. Flustered, Adeline abruptly declares the party over, citing urgent business to escape her mounting embarrassment. Enya watches the merchant's daughter, who skillfully provided Adeline both a public shaming and a dignified retreat. The merchant's daughter smiles, clearly impressed by Enya's extraordinary composure and the valuable gift. 2 days later, the merchant's daughter arrives at Enya and Dale's charming, newlywed home. Spotting Dale, she gushes over his famed handsomeness, much to Enya's amused exasperation. Getting straight to business, the merchant's daughter makes a dazzling offer, 2.5 million Croats for the Angel's Trumpet. The merchant's daughter, surprised Enya didn't haggle, remarks that such a treasure's owner must be above petty bargaining. Enya, still processing the offer, silently questions the dangerous job Dale undertook to acquire such a necklace. The merchant's daughter inquires if Enya truly meant to gift the priceless necklace, while Enya internally admits she banked on Adeline's ignorance. Enya muses that recognizing the necklace's true worth was a test for a potential ally, someone trustworthy beyond Dale. The merchant's daughter, nibbling on a snack, playfully asks if she's passed Enya's unspoken test for friendship. Enya, seizing the opportunity, proposes that instead of a discount, their new friendship warrants an exchange of information about Grunwald. The merchant's daughter, sipping her tea, expresses doubt about her usefulness, admitting her Grunwald knowledge is limited. Enya presses further, inquiring about the Lord's castle and his well-known illness, a rumor already circulating widely. The merchant's daughter correctly deduces Enya seeks the reason for the Lord's incapacitation and the Kydland-Grunwald connection. Contemplating her response, the merchant's daughter spots a nearby map, deciding it's the perfect place to start her tale. The merchant's daughter unfurls a map, dropping a bombshell. Grunwald and Kydland were once a single unified domain. The scene shifts, taking us back in time, several generations into the past. History unfolds, revealing the Count of Grunwald first divided the domain by granting land and a title to the Kedland branch family. This ancient bond meant Kidland regularly aided Grunwald against monsters, until one fateful year when beasts breached the Lord's castle defenses. The Lord of Grunwald fell, a victim of the monster onslaught, and Kidland stepped in to assist with his ongoing treatment. As compensation, Kidland shrewdly acquired coveted lands from Grunwald, all while the Grunwald Count remained incapacitated. Enya astutely points out the wasteland before the Lord's castle as part of this exchange, a fact the merchant's daughter confirms. Enya questions Kidland's peculiar interest in this barren patch, given their own fertile territories, but the merchant's daughter lacks an answer. The merchant's daughter, ever the opportunist, offers to uncover Kidland's motives, slyly asking Enya what such valuable intel is worth. Enya, with a disarming smile, proposes a future favor, a single act of assistance whenever the merchant's daughter might need it. The merchant's daughter readily agrees to Enya's proposed favor exchange. Back at their home, Dale serves Enya warm cocoa. Enya asks Dale about his work at the Lord's castle. Dale explains he manages the hunting grounds, protecting against monsters. Enya finds it ironic that Dale, gentle at home, hunts monsters. Dale asks if Enya would like a ride to the Lord's castle tomorrow. Enya reminds Dale of the land he investigated for her. Enya reveals she has a plan to claim the land. The scene shifts to the Grand Grunwald Castle. Enya thanks Dale for the ride to the castle. Enya assures Dale she can manage alone, while he confirms he's also departing. Waving goodbye, Enya internally marvels at Dale's ever-fascinating demeanor. She admires his noble-like grace and skill on horseback, a testament to his mercenary past. Unseen, Adeline glares from a window, prompting Enya to silently wonder how long she's been lurking. Adeline seethes, suspecting Enya's frequent castle visits are a deliberate attempt to thwart her. Inside the castle, Enya admits one particular revelation upon arrival truly caught her off guard. Enya is stunned to realize the Lord's steward is the very same broker who previously swindled her. A quick flashback shows Enya's past fury at the broker's scam, a nightmare resurfacing. The steward states Dale mentioned Enya's desire to meet the Lord, but regretfully informs her the Lord is indisposed. Enya calmly acknowledges she's aware the Lord is bedridden, as the steward prepares to elaborate. Enya, with a serene smile, reveals she's come as a physician to examine the Lord's condition, requesting access. The steward is visibly stunned by Enya's declaration, his composure momentarily shattered. He begins to object, his expression darkening with the weight of their financial woes. The steward laments their inability to afford treatment, gesturing towards the castle's modest state. He confesses to taking side hustles, like his previous brokerage work, just to keep the castle afloat. Enya offers her services without immediate payment, making the steward suspicious of her true intentions. With unwavering confidence, Enya asserts her ability to heal the Lord, proposing they discuss payment after his recovery. A young woman in the Lord's room recognizes Enya, clearly surprised by her presence as a guest. The steward, seemingly convinced or out of options, finally agrees and leads Enya towards the ailing Lord. Enya politely acknowledges Lady Sophia before reiterating her primary purpose, to assess the Lord's health. Lady Sophia clarifies Enya's true purpose as a physician, while Enya, by the Lord's side, recognizes a familiar, unsettling odor. Enya begins her examination, pointedly asking a hesitant Lady Sophia about the onset of the Lord's symptoms. With tears welling, Lady Sophia confesses the Lord became completely incapacitated roughly 3 months prior. Enya remarks that 3 months is a concerning delay, but she's already reaching for a solution. With a brilliant smile, Enya produces a vial, confidently stating she possesses the ideal medicine for the Lord. The steward, holding the offered remedy, voices his skepticism, recalling numerous previous treatments that proved ineffective. He recounts the Lord's distressing symptoms, hallucinations, and skin afflictions, as Lady Sophia listens with growing despair. Enya keenly deduces these confusing symptoms, a mix of mental and physical, all manifested abruptly. The steward is stunned by her insight, prompting Enya to reveal her grandfather suffered identically but made a full recovery. Lady Sophia, a flicker of hope in her eyes, urgently inquires about the specific illness that afflicted Enya's grandfather. Enya drops a bombshell, stating the Lord's condition isn't a mere illness. With chilling certainty, Enya declares the Lord has been poisoned, her eyes blazing with conviction. The steward and Lady Sophia are utterly aghast, struggling to comprehend who would poison their Lord. Lady Sophia, desperate, clutches Enya's hands, pleading for her to save her grandfather, her last living relative. Enya, holding the vial, secures Lady Sophia's promise to follow her instructions without question. With Lady Sophia's consent, Enya unseals the vial, ready to administer the cure to the ailing lord. Enya directs them to restrain the lord as she carefully pours the potent liquid into his mouth. The lord thrashes in agony as the medicine takes effect, causing Lady Sophia to fear for his well-being. The steward, witnessing the lord's violent reaction, anxiously questions Enya about the mysterious concoction. Enya confidently reveals the medicine is actually precious holy water from the temple, displaying its cross-shaped stopper. The steward and Lady Sophia are flabbergasted, realizing Enya possesses incredibly valuable holy water. Enya observes their wide-eyed astonishment, clearly amused by their reaction to her rare possession. A flashback shows a chibi Enya cheekily admitting she swiped some holy water for emergencies when she fled her home. As the Lord endures the treatment, Enya feels a sense of relief that her bold plan was trusted. The Lord finally appears to settle, and Enya declares her commitment to his full recovery, earning Sophia's heartfelt gratitude. Lady Sophia, overcome with emotion, clasps Enya's hands, expressing her profound indebtedness. The steward internally marvels that holy water, a last resort for untreatable ailments, was the key, pondering the true severity of the Lord's illness. He then recalls Adeline's confident assertion that simple herbs would suffice, a stark and suspicious contradiction. The steward offers his thanks for the unprecedented improvement, though he worries about their inability to offer proper compensation. Enya, ever the opportunist, coolly suggests a certain piece of land might just do the trick for repayment. The steward, intrigued by Enya's land request, inquires about her plans, to which she cryptically hints at a long-held ambition. Enya, with a benevolent smile, reveals her desire to cultivate medicinal herbs for the less fortunate, seeking a suitable plot. The steward, while admiring her physician's spirit, regretfully informs her that fertile, cultivated land is scarce in Grunwald. Undeterred, Enya assures him any space will do, as she'll manage the cultivation herself, much to the steward's surprise. He then proposes the garden area behind the castle, including its adjacent small vegetable patch, as a potential site. Though mentioning a wider, unavailable wasteland, the steward's current offer of the garden delights Enya, who deems it perfect. Enya internally celebrates. This readily available plot conveniently fulfills her need for nearby land, even better than previous prospects. Her enthusiastic acceptance pleases both the steward and Lady Sophia, as Enya's strategic mind considers the castle's role as a news hub. Enya's true motive surfaces. Proximity to the castle ensures she'll be first to receive any imperial decrees. Gazing out at the sun-drenched greenery, Enya admires the land that will soon serve her multifaceted plans. The steward readily agrees to prepare a physician employment contract, and Enya expresses her gratitude. Meanwhile, Lady Sophia stands pensively outside a room, a silent observer to the unfolding events. Her hand clenches tightly, a subtle sign of her inner turmoil or perhaps a newfound determination. The scene shifts to a cozy home under a twilight sky as Enya excitedly calls out to Dale. With a triumphant smile, Enya brandishes an envelope, announcing her successful employment at the Lord's castle. Dale, taken aback, learns Enya will be tending to the Lord's health for the foreseeable future. He voices his concern, wondering if Enya is overextending herself, but she reassures him it's not about money. Enya cryptically mentions a different goal, hinting that this job is a stepping stone in her grander scheme for the land Dale found. Tapping the contract, she reveals her firm belief that the Lord was deliberately poisoned, a danger she, as a physician, cannot overlook. Furthermore, Enya shrewdly notes that her position at the estate grants her quicker access to crucial imperial news. Dale, ever watchful, warns Enya that her growing reputation might attract the Emperor's attention. He explains that curing the supposedly cursed Lord of Grunwald will inevitably spread rumors about her skills far and wide. Dale points out the Emperor's current strategy of recruiting talented individuals, regardless of origin, making Enya a prime candidate for his notice. Enya listens, her expression thoughtful as Dale praises her brilliance as a physician, a fact that won't go unnoticed. She reassures a concerned Dale, stating she has her own methods for handling such potential imperial attention. Enya reminds him it's been 3 years since she fled the Empress's decree, yet her powerful father and the Emperor haven't found her. Dale guesses her success is due to careful identity concealment, but Enya casually dismisses his theory. With a cunning smile, Enya reveals the true reason. The Emperor is simply too swamped with work to focus on her. She then confesses to anonymously inundating the capital with reports of the old noble's misdeeds, keeping the Emperor perpetually busy. Enya elaborates that the previous Emperor and his faction committed countless atrocities, and unearthing all their corruption is a monumental task. Enya proudly reveals she hired informants to dig up dirt on the old nobles, personally filing the damning reports. She explains this benefits the Emperor by helping him tighten his grip on power. Dale listens intently as Enya adds that this also keeps the Emperor too preoccupied to hunt for her. With a smug smile, Enya boasts about her clever two-birds-one-stone strategy, tying up the Emperor and punishing novel villains. Dale quietly processes this revelation, a soft sound indicating his dawning comprehension. Enya, noticing his reaction, curiously asks what he just muttered. Dale, slightly flustered, admits his surprise at her unorthodox methods, connecting her actions to the recent surge in government affairs. The scene transitions to the Lord's grand estate, where Enya is making her rounds, inquiring about his condition. Adeline and the steward report on the Lord's remarkable improvement, crediting Enya's effective medicine for his morning walk and swift recovery within a week. Enya, visibly relieved, approaches the Lord's bedside as a narrative box highlights the rare and unique characteristics of the poison he endured. The insidious poison is revealed to spread slowly, requiring constant exposure and showing no early symptoms until a lethal dose is reached. Enya recalls her own grandfather's poisoning by a hexagon spy, a plot by the old nobles to dismantle her family, leaders of the new nobility. She theorizes that if the old nobles are involved again, a hexagon spy must have infiltrated Grunwald, gaining the Lord's trust over time. With a determined glint, Enya reaches for a doorknob, ready to investigate her suspicions. Her piercing blue eye narrows, reflecting her sharp intellect and unwavering resolve. Suddenly, Enya catches a glimpse of Adeline, clad in red, furtively slipping away down the corridor. Enya, observing Adeline's hasty retreat, questions the maid's suspicious behavior. Just then, Lady Sophia approaches, relieved to find Enya, who wonders if something is amiss after the day's examination. Lady Sophia, her expression earnest, simply wanted to express her gratitude to Enya once more. Overcome with emotion, Sophia tearfully admits that without Enya, they'd never have discovered the poison and might have lost her grandfather. Sophia reveals her grandfather raised her, questioning who could possibly wish harm upon such a gentle soul. Enya inquires about the cozy flower herb, learning Adeline now sources it since it mysteriously stopped growing in Grunwald. Enya explains cozy flower's detoxifying properties, puzzled why the Lord's health declined while consuming it. She deduces the herb itself is compromised, or worse, deliberately altered, a dark vision underscoring her suspicion. Enya's gaze sharpens, her focus narrowing on the individual closest to the Lord's daily intake. With chilling certainty, Enya instructs a stunned Sophia to monitor Lady Adeline closely. Sophia, aghast, clutches her attire, unable to believe Adeline, whom her grandfather cherished, could be involved. She tearfully defends Adeline, her dearest friend, finding it impossible to harbor suspicion. Sophia's almost naive loyalty shines through as she struggles to reconcile Enya's warning with her trust in Adeline. Apologizing for her perceived softness, Sophia admits her difficulty in being instantly suspicious, a vulnerability Enya notes. Enya subtly questions Sophia's singular focus on Lady Adeline, planting a seed of doubt. With a disarming smile, Enya suggests Sophia consider her a friend too, perhaps for collaborative observation. Sophia, caught off guard by the friendly overture, displays a moment of surprised hesitation. Overjoyed, Sophia eagerly agrees to drop formalities, insisting Enya call her Sophia, while Enya reciprocates, suggesting Anne. Sophia enthusiastically clasps Enya's hands, promising a future tour of the Lord's study, her most cherished spot. Enya beams, genuinely touched by Sophia's warmth and looking forward to their newfound camaraderie. Ascending the grand staircase, Enya muses that having a friendly face within the manor will be beneficial for her frequent visits. Her thoughts are interrupted by a faint, indistinct noise drifting from deeper within the estate. Enya pauses, her sharp senses instantly recognizing the distant sound as a heated, loud argument. Curiosity piqued and ever vigilant, Enya cautiously continues up the stairs, drawn towards the source of the commotion. The argument's source is a distressed blonde woman, complaining about a messy situation her father involved her in. Enya's sharp blue eye widens as she overhears panicked whispers about her curing Count Grunwald and the dire consequences for an unknown family. Peeking around a shadowy corner, Enya instantly recognizes the agitated voice. It's Adeline Kidland, clutching a mysterious glowing red orb, her face a mask of fury and panic. An unseen man, likely Adeline's father, calmly asks her to confirm Count Grunwald's recovery, the red orb pulsing ominously. Enya listens intently as Adeline laments to her father how that woman humiliated her and is now derailing their family's plans. The father dismisses Adeline's outburst, his priority clearly being some elusive documents she was tasked to find. Adeline trembles, the red orb flaring, as her father warns that failure means a powerful duke will ensure their demise. Enya absorbs the shocking revelation. A duke is pulling strings, and crucial documents are at the heart of this conspiracy. The father presses Adeline to find the hidden papers, but she despairs, questioning how to locate items concealed by someone already gone. Adeline, utterly exasperated, challenges her father to find the elusive documents himself. With a cry of despair, Adeline shatters the glowing red orb, declaring she can't take it anymore. A close-up shows Adeline's long hair as she lets out a heavy, defeated sigh. Adeline clutches her head, letting out a silent scream of pure frustration and panic. She internally seethes, convinced that that woman is the sole cause of her current predicament. Adeline laments that ever since Enya appeared in Grunwald, her carefully laid plans have crumbled. Enya, having overheard the entire incriminating conversation, stands with a grimly thoughtful expression. Ascending the stairs, Enya coolly deduces the menacing Duke must be Duke Hexagon, one of only two in the Empire. Enya's sharp eyes spot the glittering, shattered remains of the red communication orb on the floor. Picking up a pulsating red shard, Enya's suspicions about the conspiracy deepen, a knowing look on her face. Enya's mind screams the undeniable truth. The mastermind behind this insidious plot is Duke Hexagon. She recalls Duke Hexagon, the charismatic leader of the old nobles and a villainous figure from the original story, whose family, like hers, possesses herb-related abilities. Once, House Hexagon was revered, distributing a supposed cure-all medicine that earned them the people's adoration. This cheaply available medicine, a beacon of hope for the impoverished, was, in reality, a sinister concoction with dark secrets. Despite severe side effects like paralysis and poisoning, the former emperor, a Hexagon puppet, allowed its spread, sickening the innocent poor for decades. However, the current emperor, a man of justice, refused to let such atrocities continue under his reign. Braving the desperate interference of the old nobles, the emperor took decisive action to bring Duke Hexagon to account. Consequently, Duke Hexagon was confined to house arrest, a lenient sentence due to a frustrating lack of concrete evidence. Enya knows Hexagon prefers to pull strings from the shadows, and with his punishment ending, he's undoubtedly plotting to reclaim his power. Clutching the pulsating shard, Enya realizes the chilling connection. It's no mere chance that her grandfather and Lord Grunwald were targeted with the exact same poison. Enya clenches the shard, vowing she'll never forgive Duke Hexagon for twisting life-saving pharmacology into a weapon. Determined, Enya realizes those mysterious documents Adeline mentioned could be the key to exposing Hexagon's entire operation. Suddenly, Sophia's voice calls out from the top of the stairs, startling Enya, who quickly conceals the incriminating shard. Enya plays it cool, feigning relief at seeing Sophia, who explains she heard a noise from this rarely used underground staircase. With a charming smile, Enya smoothly explains she got lost and dropped something, a believable excuse for her presence. After assuring a concerned Sophia she's unharmed, Enya decides to keep her discoveries under wraps. Then a new idea sparks. As if on cue, Sophia announces a sudden opening in her schedule, making her unexpectedly free. Enya cannily suggests Sophia could give her that promised tour of the Lord's study right now, an offer Sophia joyfully accepts. With Sophia leading the way, Enya internally strategizes. The hunt for those crucial documents begins in the study. Entering the book-filled study, Sophia remarks it's been some time since her last visit, drawing back a heavy curtain. Enya surveys the massive collection, realizing the daunting task of locating anything amidst the countless volumes. Sophia confirms the Grunwald family's long-standing love for books, noting the collection was once even grander. As Sophia laments the study's current state as a dusty, neglected storage space, Enya subtly feigns a cough. Enya, ever strategic, casually inquires if Adeline ever frequented this particular room. Sophia reveals Adeline visited only once, deeming the study too dirty, a detail Enya mentally files away with a knowing smirk. Enya reasons that Adeline's aversion to the dusty study significantly increases the likelihood of the documents being hidden there. Her sharp eyes land on a cloth-draped object in the corner, sparking a theory about a cleverly concealed hiding spot. Enya points to the mysterious item, prompting Sophia to explain it's an unfinished family portrait from a previous era. Feigning curiosity, Enya asks to view the portrait, a request Sophia happily grants. With a determined glint in her eye, Enya reaches out, ready to unveil whatever secrets the covered canvas might hold. Enya lifts the canvas, initially underwhelmed, as it appears to be just an ordinary family portrait. Her keen fingers trace the back, detecting a subtle, telltale unevenness in the canvas. Peeling back a section, she uncovers a hidden layer, revealing a faceless depiction of a family and something tucked within. A triumphant glint in her eye confirms it. The crucial documents are finally in her grasp. Clutching her briefcase containing the vital papers, Enya makes her way through the estate grounds under the cloak of night. She glances at the moon, a silent acknowledgement of the late hour her clandestine search has reached. Enya recalls the effort of discreetly securing the documents from Sophia's view, which further delayed her departure. A pang of concern hits her. Dale must be waiting, and she quickens her pace. She remembers Dale's previous worried vigil, a fond smile playing on her lips at his endearing concern. Suddenly, Enya's sharp blue eye widens, sensing an unexpected presence or development. A sudden rustle in the undergrowth makes Enya jump, wondering if a wild animal startled her. She grips her briefcase tighter, acknowledging the isolated estate feels decidedly eerie after sunset. Enya scans the moonlit trees, another sound putting her on high alert. Her eyes dart around, a flicker of genuine alarm crossing her face. Whirling around, Enya prepares to confront whatever lurks in the shadows. Out from the trees stumbles a familiar cloaked figure. It's Dale, looking worse for wear. Before Enya can react, Dale suddenly collapses to the forest floor. She rushes to his side, her concern mounting as she questions why he's out so late and if he's injured. Cradling Dale, Enya feels his burning fever and desperately urges him to remain conscious. As she supports him, Enya spots a strange, glowing object stuck to Dale's back, her eyes widening in surprise. Enya recognizes the glowing item as a teleport scroll, questioning if Dale actually used it. She cradles the feverish Dale, pondering why on earth he'd resort to such a measure. The scene transitions to a house under the bright moonlight, indicating they've reached safety. Dale groggily awakens, his eyes fluttering open in an unfamiliar setting. He finds Enya by his bedside, her gentle smile greeting him as he regains consciousness. Dale, utterly bewildered, drops a cloth in surprise, demanding to know why Enya is in his room. Enya calmly explains she found him unconscious and, with neighborly assistance, brought him to his bedroom. Sitting beside him, Enya prepares to address a more pressing matter than his current confusion. She looks at him with genuine concern, gently inquiring if he's been pushing himself too hard lately. Enya reminds him this is the second time she's seen him collapse, her worry for his well-being evident. Enya offers her unwavering support, emphasizing their bond extends beyond mere business to genuine friendship. Dale, visibly moved, thanks her but attempts to downplay his condition, blaming his devotion to their marriage and his duties. He concedes to overexertion, expressing gratitude for her attentiveness and care. Enya, ever astute, shifts focus, pointedly asking about his use of a costly teleport scroll. A flustered Dale admits she's right, explaining lateness prompted his one-time use of the scroll. She gently lectures him on the physical toll of teleport scrolls, urging him to avoid them, to which he meekly agrees. Satisfied for now, Enya prepares to leave, wishing him a peaceful rest. Once alone, Dale exhales, mortified at having collapsed before Enya. He internally attributes his state to overwork, frequent scroll use for secret palace visits, and regrets causing Enya concern, mulling over alternative methods. The bedroom door creaks open slightly, hinting at an unseen presence or an impending interruption. Enya pauses outside Dale's room, her mind racing with unanswered questions. She reasons that if Dale were merely ill, she'd have sensed it. The scroll's side effects are undeniable. Enya connects the dots. Frequent scroll use, his deteriorating health, and that suspiciously valuable necklace. She remembers Dale's insistence on taking only minor, safe tasks since their move south. A chilling thought crosses Enya's mind. Dale might be concealing a far greater secret. The next morning, Dale awakens, startled to find Enya's presence lingering in his thoughts. Enya greets the recovering Dale with a warm smile and a tray laden with restorative food. Brushing off his concern for her, Enya insists it's her turn to pamper him after all his culinary efforts. While Dale tentatively eats, Enya calmly reviews a newly acquired, important-looking document. He curiously eyes the paper, prompting Enya to reveal it's the original Grunwald-Kydland ancestral contract. Enya begins to unravel the complex truth, stating the current situation between the territories is not what it appears. Dale looks on, stunned, as Enya reveals the Dukes of Hexagon and Kydland conspired to distort reality. She explains overhearing Adeline at the Lord's castle, finally understanding the Kydland princess's prolonged stay in Grunwald. Adeline's true purpose, Enya discloses, was to locate this very document and destroy any incriminating evidence. A map illustrates the Gonya mountain range, a monster-infested barrier between Kydland and Grunwald, highlighting Grunwald's vulnerability. Enya details Grunwald's past reliance on mining income and their monster-slaying contracts with Kydland, which involved trading mining rights. The immense mineral wealth Kydland gained from these rights is depicted, hinting at a lucrative arrangement. The narrative questions if Kydland's burgeoning profits fueled an insatiable greed. Following the sudden demise of the Grunwald Count who brokered the deal, the contract vanished, and Kydland's intentions turned predatory. Enya, ever meticulous, points to discrepancies on an old map when cross-referenced with the newly found contract. Dale observes the current imperial map shows vastly different boundaries, suggesting a massive, unrecorded land deal. He processes Enya's implication. The existing contract is a fake, and the Duke of Hexagon was in on it. Enya offers a sly, almost imperceptible smile, confirming his dawning realization. She lays it out. Kydland, with Hexagon's backing, covered up the real agreement, using a forged contract to slowly annex Grunwald's territory. Enya gestures to the ancient scroll and map, the smoking guns proving Kydland's treachery. With a flourish, Enya presents a glowing magic stone, revealing it holds a voice recording of Adeline implicating the Duke. Dale, utterly flabbergasted, demands to know how she managed to secure such damning evidence. Enya recounts Adeline's temper tantrum. She smashed a communication stone, forgetting the magic core inside, which Enya promptly snatched. Enya confidently asserts that presenting this evidence to the Imperial Palace will restore Grunwald and bring joy to its citizens. Internally, Enya smirks, knowing she holds even more cards, evidence she's yet to reveal to Dale. Enya reveals she meticulously gathered evidence, intending to inform the Lord and Sophia first. Dale, ever self-assured, trusts the Emperor's fairness, citing past successes. Enya muses on a potential alliance with the Emperor, were it not for their marriage, and wishes for swift justice. With a hopeful smile, Enya anticipates a positive outcome for their endeavors. Dale, observing her, quietly concurs with her optimistic outlook. Across the table, Enya confidently declares the case will undoubtedly reach a proper conclusion. A month later, bustling construction signifies that, just as Dale foresaw, matters progressed smoothly. The Imperial Court's rigorous investigation unfolds, while townsfolk note the Lord's recovery, quashing curse theories. It's revealed the Lord's ailment was poisoning, a modified cozy flower the culprit, as Enya and Dale stroll. Overwhelmed by evidence, Kydland confesses, their annexed Grunwald lands were systematically polluted under false pretenses. Kydland's feigned closeness to Grunwald made developing compensated lands tricky, a calculated move to stifle Grunwald's prosperity. Their grand scheme was to seize all of Grunwald once the Lord succumbed to poison, forcing Adeline into a hasty retreat. Consequently, the swift return of Grunwald's lands and full compensation for damages became an unavoidable outcome for Kydland. A beaming Lord Grunwald, now fully recovered, warmly greets Enya and Dale, his gratitude evident. He joyfully declares Grunwald's rapid revitalization, crediting Enya's astute actions for their newfound vibrancy. The Lord, eager to show his appreciation, offers to personally escort the busy duo. Enya takes a confident step forward, ready to meet with the recuperated Lord and his family. Sophia, bursting with excitement, rushes to embrace Enya, her relief and happiness palpable. Sophia explains that she and her grandfather had been eagerly anticipating their arrival. With a cheerful smile, Sophia leads Enya inside, certain her grandfather will be overjoyed to see them. Sophia calls out to her grandfather, who appears deeply moved, clutching some papers. She playfully chides him for getting emotional over rereading that particular letter yet again. Lord Grunwald, with a sheepish but warm smile, admits he couldn't resist another look before their guests arrived. Enya, ever astute, inquires if the letter in question was the one found alongside the crucial documents. Now seated with Enya and Dale, Lord Grunwald reveals the letter was a precious memento from his great-grandfather to his grandfather. Dale, sipping his tea, curiously asks if Lord Grunwald shared a close bond with his grandfather. Lord Grunwald affirms their closeness, explaining his grandfather personally oversaw his childhood education. His gaze turns distant as he recounts his grandfather's profound lifelong yearning for his own father. The age script of the letter fills the frame, Lord Grunwald expressing profound gratitude for its rediscovery. He explains his great-grandfather penned the letter out of concern, as frequent accidents plagued the Northern Empire during his childhood. Lord Grunwald reveals the letter exposed his great-grandfather's deep-seated suspicion of Kidland, even back then. He confesses to sensing Kidland's shady intentions, but, with a tremor, admits he chose to look the other way. Sophia listens, her expression troubled, as her grandfather laments nearly neglecting her due to Kidland's feigned familial concern. The Lord's hands clench tightly, tormented by the mere thought of the dangers his granddaughter might have faced. He offers Enya his profound gratitude for her timely intervention, while she beams, pleased with the resolution. Now Lord Grunwald grapples with the monumental task of adequately rewarding the woman who saved his entire territory. Enya, ever modest, attributes their success to the Imperial Court's keen interest and the investigators' crucial discoveries. She elaborates that the true villain unmasked by the investigation was a central noble, a crony of Duke Hexagon, who'd previously attempted a land grab. The Lord, depicted as a steadfast doll, had staunchly refused to sell Grunwald land to outsiders, forcing the schemers to get creative. Their cunning new strategy involved exploiting Viscount Kidland, a relative eager to permanently obscure Grunwald's valuable assets. Enya explains Viscount Kidland was the perfect pawn, desperate to bury Grunwald's secrets and assets. The central noble and Kidland struck a dirty deal, Grunwald's takeover for a slice of its lands. Enya deduces the Imperial Court's swift, thorough investigation was spurred by Duke Hexagon's damning involvement. Sophia worries Enya's crucial role will remain unsung, but Enya calmly reveals she preferred anonymity. Enya, ever pragmatic, recalls Dale's advice. Solving such a high-profile case publicly would only invite unwanted attention. She reassures a puzzled Sophia that the truth being known to them and the Lord's household is satisfaction enough. Lord Grunwald, seconded by Sophia, insists on expressing their profound gratitude, feeling it's the least they can do. As Enya demurs, mentioning previous gifts, Dale cuts in, a new proposition forming in his mind. Dale, ever the strategist, unrolls a map, noting Grunwald's significant land reclamation from Kidland. He then pinpoints a vast, recently returned wasteland before the Lord's castle, formerly Kidland territory. Dale proposes that transferring the reclaimed forest and wasteland to Enya would be sufficient repayment. He boldly declares that after all, she is their savior. Enya's eyes widen in surprise, recognizing the significance of the offered land. A pleased smile graces Enya's lips as she wonders if Dale remembered her previous interest in the area. Enya internally admits acquiring this land was her initial aim, but Lord Grunwald's tale now makes her hesitate to ask for more. Lord Grunwald and Sophia enthusiastically agree with Dale's grand idea, overwhelming a protesting Enya. Dale, with a knowing look, gently nudges Enya to accept their heartfelt offer of gratitude. Enya appears flustered by Dale's intervention, clearly caught off guard. Conceding it would be impolite to refuse, Enya gracefully accepts, but only the area of the returned forest. Lord Grunwald looks moved as Enya explains that taking too much land would undermine their victory in reclaiming it. Enya, ever the visionary, suggests they instead work together to transform the reclaimed wastelands into fertile ground. She reveals her pragmatic reasons. The forest and garden soil are fine, and she'd rather not attract Duke Hexagon's unwanted gaze. With a flourish, Enya proposes they announce Grunwald's triumphant return, offering her full support. She confidently mentions her research into purifying toxin-ravaged land, certain that temple assistance will expedite the process. Lord Grunwald, though deeply appreciative, voices his concern that priests from the distant temple might be too occupied to come. Enya, with a bright smile, assures him their generous donations are more than enough, and she just so happens to know a priest. She slyly adds that this particular priest, while perhaps a tad morally flexible, is easily persuaded by sufficient payment, causing Dale visible distress. As Enya and Dale walk away, Lord Grunwald anxiously asks his butler if his handling of the situation was adequate. The butler affirms the Lord performed admirably, though Lord Grunwald still struggles to process the recent events. Lord Grunwald reflects on the Emperor's unexpected visit and Enya's potential connection, before wisely deciding some secrets are best kept. Enya beams, finding her true reward in the happiness of Lord Grunwald and Sophia. Later, Enya stretches triumphantly, having finalized all plans for the wasteland's purification. Stepping onto a moonlit balcony, Enya's thoughts drift to Dale, wondering about his well-being. Below, Dale diligently chops firewood, a picture of quiet industry under the night sky. A bead of sweat traces Dale's brow as he pauses, his expression a mix of focus and subtle weariness. Enya observes him from above, a fond smile playing on her lips as she admires his diligence. She calls down, her voice carrying a hint of concern for the effort he's expending. Dale turns, slightly startled by her call, but quickly reassures her that he's perfectly fine. Enya notes Dale's healthier appearance, attributing it to him no longer using the mysterious scroll, and appreciates his unwavering support. Leaning on the railing, Enya reflects warmly on the significant journey they've navigated together. Enya boldly proposes a town outing for the next day, pointedly calling it a date, much to Dale's blushing surprise. The scene shifts to a bustling southern city near Grunwald, where two children dash by with unbridled excitement. One of the exuberant children nearly takes a tumble, their foot catching on an unseen stone. Dale, ever vigilant, swiftly catches the stumbling child, gently warning them about the sharp object they carry. The children chirp their thanks, innocently dubbing Dale an old man before scampering off, leaving him momentarily perplexed. Enya, amused, remarks that to children, all adults probably seem ancient, a sentiment Dale sheepishly accepts. She then comments on the heartwarming sight of energetic children, a stark contrast to the quieter Grunwald. Dale concurs, noting the distinct, lively atmosphere of the large city as they navigate through its populace. Dale, a touch flustered, inquires about the purpose of their city excursion, to which Enya brightly replies there's simply more to experience. Enya then reveals her true motive, a desire to express her gratitude for Dale's considerable assistance of late. Dale blushes as Enya points out their regrettable lack of quality time spent alone together. With a radiant smile, Enya declares today a special occasion, their very first official date. Enya, ever the initiator, spies a boutique and suggests it as their first stop. Inside the lavish shop, Dale looks utterly bewildered as Enya lounges, ready to commence her plan. A montage showcases Dale in various dapper outfits, his discomfort growing with each change. Overwhelmed by the attention and attire, Dale modestly insists he doesn't require such finery. He expresses concern over Enya's spending, stating her company is gift enough, as a shop assistant observes. Enya, however, is thoroughly enjoying herself, delighting in dressing up her handsome companion. A mountain of beautifully wrapped gifts appears, Enya internally justifying her spree by noting Dale's good looks and the boutique's reasonable prices. She cheerfully reassures the flustered Dale not to fret over expenses, mentioning a recent influx of contract money. Enya internally reveals she clued Rosanna into Grunwald's potential, securing her business partner and advance funds. A shop assistant, noticing Dale's new attire, cleverly suggests matching women's clothing for Enya. Enya, delighted, decides to wear her new matching outfit immediately, impressing the assistant with her quick decision. Now in coordinated ensembles, Enya asks a dapper Dale if their shopping spree was a success. Dale, genuinely pleased with his new clothes, suggests they visit one of the area's renowned tea houses. A subtle blush and a soft smile grace Dale's features, clearly enjoying their outing. Dale sweetly declares any place is fine with Enya by his side, earning a playful tease about his smooth words. Seated at a charming outdoor cafe, Enya reflects on how quickly her bond with Dale has deepened. As Enya considers a piece of cake, she contemplates the peculiar yet pleasant feeling she has. Enya realizes with a warm feeling that just being in Dale's presence brings her profound happiness. Enya muses on their easy companionship, feeling as if they've known each other for ages. She reflects on her deep contentment, as a hand discreetly places a pouch into a basket of flowers. Enya acknowledges their contract marriage was a means to an end, yet her current happiness transcends its origins. Her vivid blue eyes sparkles, mirroring the joy she finds in every shared moment with Dale. Dale, endearingly flustered, presents her with a flower basket, making Enya forget the complexities of her situation. Gazing at Dale, Enya momentarily questions if she deserves such carefree happiness. Drifting in a boat on a sunlit river, Enya gently inquires if Dale found their day enjoyable. Dale, with a soft smile, affirms their outing felt like a wonderful dream. Enya, relieved and pleased, admits her recent busy schedule was all in preparation for their special day. After Enya credits Rosanna's help, Dale reveals he too has a surprise gift, sparking Enya's eager curiosity. Enya blushes, her bright blue eyes wide with a mixture of surprise and delight at Dale's unexpected gesture. Dale, with a soft, endearing blush, presents a small, ornate box revealing a pair of wedding rings. As Dale gently takes her hand, he explains the rings are a practical measure to maintain their cover, despite Enya's initial surprise. With a charmingly earnest expression, Dale asks for permission to place the ring on her finger. Enya feels a wave of shyness wash over her, attributing it to Dale's unexpectedly sweet and romantic demeanor. The moment feels incredibly significant to Enya, mirroring the emotions of a genuine proposal. Later, their hands clasped and adorned with new rings, both admit their reluctance for the wonderful day to end. As they stroll, Enya's attention is suddenly caught by an intriguing sign illuminated in the evening light. They discover a fortune-telling shop, its sign advertising a range of services, including compatibility readings, piquing Enya's curiosity. Dale's eyes light up with unexpected enthusiasm at the mention of compatibility readings, leaving Enya momentarily astounded. Enya, ever adventurous, proposes they try the fortune teller, and Dale readily agrees to the fun. A mysterious, hooded figure with a glowing orb greets the couple, her smile hinting at secrets. The fortune teller, shrouded in mystique, inquires about the purpose of their visit. Dale, with a charming smile, confidently requests a compatibility reading for them as a couple. The seer peers into her orb, then astutely asks if they are newlyweds, catching Enya off guard. Enya internally scoffs, thinking their matching attire and rings made the newlywed guess far too easy. A glint in the fortune teller's eye and a flicker in Enya's expression leave Dale momentarily puzzled. The fortune teller, with unnerving accuracy, directly questions if their marriage is even real. Enya is utterly stunned, her composure shattered as she silently wonders how their secret was exposed. The seer then cryptically reveals their pasts are deeply connected by a terrible, ill-fated destiny. Dale's expression darkens, his voice firm as he declares he's heard enough from the cryptic seer. A startled Enya peeks from behind Dale's protective stance, her eyes wide with concern as she utters his name. Dale swiftly confronts the fortune teller, grabbing their robe and demanding their true identity, noting they'd even used a disguise potion,